It was just a month ago when Newcastle and Western Sydney last met.
Oh, and a target! A howitzer from long range! Moy again, oh, brilliant! That is fabulous from Aaron Moy.
The entertainment didn't stop there.
Back of the net by Adam Taggart, a lifeline for Newcastle.
But it ended sourly for the Jets.
College has clapped it into Taggart. The referee has blown the full-time whistle.
Joel Griffiths, it's stupidity of the highest order.
Newcastle now out for revenge. But Popper's men have their eye on top spot and won't be rolling out the welcome mat. It's Sunday afternoon A-League. Wanderers and the Jets. Live on Fox Sports.
Well, defensive lapses cost them dear in the Champions League. Today, it's back to domestic matters, and this game matters very much to both the Western Sydney Wanderers and the Newcastle Jets season. Brisbane have again pulled away from the Wanderers at the top, and the gap between the Jets and the top six is now 5 points. A warm, if slightly soggy, welcome to Pirtek Stadium for the final game of round 21, a round that has already produced 17 goals. And for the Wanderers, the goal is to keep the fires burning on two fronts during this busy period. No easy task with 13 games in 53 days. The Jets, if anything, are better on the road than at home, where perhaps the pressure isn't on them as much to control the game, which the Wanderers did in Asia for long periods during the week, and of course still lost. It has been such an up and down season for Newcastle, up as high as third at one point, now down in ninth. Their hopes of a first finals appearance in 4 seasons hanging rather by a thread. Can Tony Popovic's team bookend a rather disappointing week on the regional stage with back-to-back A-League wins? Or will the Jets' topsy-turvy campaign take another upward swing? We are about to find out. And here's the team news, starting with the Wanderers, who make 2 changes from the side that started against Ulsan. Jacopo La Rocca is replaced in midfield by Matteo Poliak, while Labinot Haliti leads the line in place of Brendan Santalab. Tommy Juric is still sidelined through injury. 3 changes for the Jets. Q Yallens returns in defence after suspension. Taylor Regan is the man to miss out, and changes on the flanks as well, with James Virgili and Craig Goodwin relegated to the bench. Andrew Hall and Joel Griffiths come into what looks like a very attacking Jets lineup. Adam Taggart will play in again behind Emil Heskey, with Griffiths starting on a wide right role. And in reserve, no place on the bench for David Carney nor Ben Kantarowski for Newcastle, who's given another week to recover from that knee problem. Well, they shared 4 goals and lots of late drama in the corresponding fixture at Hunter Stadium just 3 weeks ago. Hostilities set to recommence shortly. It is the Western Sydney Wanderers against the Newcastle Jets. Grey and rather damp in Parramatta. Current temperatures 22 degrees. We may get a shower a little bit later on the pitch. May play a little heavy. Wanderers coach Tony Popovic taking charge of his 50th A-League game for the Wanderers, and what a start he's made to his coaching career. A trophy already delivered. As for Clayton Zane, well, Popovic has as many trophies as he does wins at the moment. His only success in Brisbane since succeeding Gary van Egmond 5 games ago. Our referee is Chris Beath, his 91st A-League appointment. Alison Flynn and Owen Goldrick run the lines. Stephen Lucas is the fourth official. So the Wanderers get us underway. A rather foreboding afternoon in Parramatta, and a loss today for either of these two would make their seasonal aspirations look equally bleak, Jamie Harmwell.
Yeah, it would, Simon. It's a massive game for both teams, as there are so many now in the A-League as we come to the pointy end of the season. Wanderers obviously looking for that top spot, trying to catch Brisbane Roar.
Well, Wanderers almost catching Newcastle unawares there, trying to spring the offside trap. Haliti just the wrong side of the line.
Whereas Newcastle have to repair the season that's gone horribly wrong for them since Christmas. Really are struggling to find any sort of form. A tough place to try and do it here at Pertac Stadium.
Do you imagine it's going to be rather a cagey game today? I mean, the Wanderers don't often dominate possession, even at home, Jamie, and the Newcastle Jets' best performance in recent week in Brisbane came when they basically played on the counter.
It's going to be interesting to see how both sides do come out. I think the Jets, with the attacking players they've got at their disposal today, they really need to try and take control of this game. Emile Heskey being such a target up front, they can afford to play a bit more direct as well, really get him involved in the game.
That was Heskey trying to get involved. It's back with Yellens, had a very heavy touch, which allowed Shinji Ono to close him down very quickly. Newcastle get away with it. Bridges' boot was high, but not high enough to force the free kick. And it's a throw-in for the Wanderers. Incidentally, there is some sort of protest. I'm not sure whether it's official or not by the RBB today. So the atmosphere might be rather quieter this afternoon. It's got something to do with the issues that we had here during the week against Ulsan in the Asian Champions League. Matthew Sporanovic being pursued by Adam Taggart. Two young Socceroo hopefuls, perhaps. Sporanovic in Ange Postecoglou's squad to play Ecuador this week. Taggart being talked about in some circles, but probably only a fringe choice at best, or a fringe chance, I should say, at best, for Brazil. Trying to slide it through for Haliti. Cover provided by Josh Mitchell. Free kick chance. Trying to remember whether you played with Josh Mitchell at Perth.
Yeah, played with Josh for one season, I think it was. He's settled back into his hometown in Newcastle. Well, not being a first choice, he has done well when come in, but he's certainly part of a Newcastle back four that's got to plug the goals and got to plug the pressure that's been mounting on Mark Birighitti in most games to come up with some great saves to keep Newcastle in it.
This is Caravella. Are you a bit surprised that he's gone with Yellens and Mitchell and not Yellens and Regan today? I'm not sure whether Taylor has a bit of an injury or not.
No, it's a bit of a surprise considering Regan's done quite well. He's been very solid. He's that sort of player you'd expect in this atmosphere. A big, strong, strapping lad. He likes to get stuck in. Against West Sydney Wanderers, you need a few warriors in there to shore up the defence and be up for those big games. And the distribution side of things doesn't need to be the best if you've got someone like Heskey further forwards you can try and hit.
Well, Josh Mitchell, he's been in and out of the Jets team this season, retains his spot. He'll be glad about that as well. He's off contract at the end of the season with the Jets, looking for a new deal. Here's Yellens.
Get up! Narrow!
Back for Birighitti. Chested down by Heskey. Zenon Caravella. Slightly beyond Galloway, but he's reeled it in. Hall starting on the left flank today. He's played a few different positions for Newcastle in his fledgling Jets career. As we rather suspected, Jamie, it's been a bit cagey.
I think Newcastle will just be happy to keep the ball to begin with as well. Just play themselves into the game. Those little presses that Wanderers can do when they look to press in, and suddenly catch them on the counter-attack.
Well, Adam Taggart's found space between the lines. He can shoot from long range and does love to. That was always rising, but I think he scored 4 or 5 of those 9 goals he's hit this season from outside the penalty area. He's not frightened to shoot, is he?
No, he's not. I was fortunate enough to play with Taggart when he first started at Perth Glory, and always seemed to be the sort of player who you'd want in and around the 6-yard box to score those tap-ins, to use his pace with the late runs. But he's certainly got some venom in that right boot, and he scored some cracking goals, as you say, this year. That's something the Wanderers have got to be very mindful of.
There's a chance for Haliti to release Mark Bridge, who was in acres of space on the left. Really the quality of ball that Bridge wanted or required. I'd say the same for Joel Griffiths there as well. Playing on the right flank this afternoon, Joel Griffiths. He, of course, sent off after the full-time whistle in the last game between these two just a few weeks back. Here he is on the ball. Just opened himself up and turned it down the line beautifully for Brillante, who delivers to the far post. There's a bit of a push there by Polens on Heskey. No appeal from the big Englishman. Jets work it back for Galloway. And it drops here for Heskey. Not a bad chance that for Emil Heskey. And again, they put it over the top of the crossbar. Decent start by the visitors.
It has been just a good ball flighted in towards Heskey. He's just used his body to keep Topor Stanley out of the way. It just dropped back down to him onto the left foot on the volley. Just couldn't get himself over the top of it. Just a half volley, always rising, couldn't get just close enough to the bounce. If they can get that sort of service in, Heskey's the target you can use against someone like Topor Stanley and Sporanovic. You can challenge for them in the air. He's one of the few players who will be able to win headers and dominate against them.
Tough week for Nikolai Topor Stanley. Had Kim Shin Wook to deal with during the week. Now he's got Emil Heskey. Bridge feeding it off for Shinji Ono, drives it wide, goal kick.
Well, just a typical Wanderers attack, wasn't it? Just so quick and incisive through the middle. Bridge cutting inside, finding Ono, and here's another player who can produce some fantastic goals. Newcastle Jets just quick enough to close him down on this occasion.
Topor Stanley winning that one against Heskey, but he's headed the ball back towards his own goal. Helped out by Sporanovic. Stepped forward by Moy. Lofted forwards by Polyak and flicked on by Haliti. Now it's with Hersey. Promising move for the Wanderers. Galloway manages to stop in time to effect the clearance. And a bit of a slip from Andrew Hall. Polens finding a gap for Hersey. He can't pick out Polyak. Good tracking back by Griffiths, but of course now he's caught in his own half, and Zenon Caravella will lead the charge instead for the Jets. Playing in their change strip green jerseys this afternoon. Bridge got a portion of that, but Poole picking up the scraps. Galloway runs into the brick wall known as Jerome Polens. Jets retain possession of the ball. Jellens. Good ball under pressure that by the Dutchman. Zatkovic. Heskey. Teammates not quite on the same wavelength. After that rather slow start, Jamie, the game just started to find a little bit of rhythm on both sides.
Yeah, it is. I still think Newcastle will be the happier of the two sides at the moment. They get good possession.
Wanderers have got good possession here. Sporanovic, though, has put it behind Bridge. Now Taggart with some room. Bursts through the challenge of Deputso with ease. Griffiths available. Oh, it's a horrible cross. Joel Griffiths blames the pitch. Like a spin bowler bowling a wide. Just hits a divot, Gov.
Well, one thing Newcastle do have is a lot of pace going forwards as well, so they can catch Sydney on the counter-attack. Likes of Taggart, Griffiths can really do some damage in there. Taggart able to skip past two challenges there in the middle of the park. Feed the ball wide to Griffiths. I'm not sure how much crossing Joel Griffiths has had to do in the past few years of his career. Not a huge amount, we would think. He's certainly looking to get the ball to his feet and run at the fullback, run at the centre halves if he can. Try and create a little overload in there.
Well, particularly when you've got a striker like Emil Heskey leading the line, he thrives on that sort of service, crosses from the flanks that he can attack.
It's certainly got to be a part of their game plan. As I said, West Sydney very strong in the air at the back. Spranovich and Topper Stanley, two very good players, but if you get the right service into Heskey, you get him attacking the ball, then no defender will be able to live with it.
Offside again. Haliti penalised not for the first time. Haliti, 93 appearances in 2 spells for the Newcastle Jets. 15 goals to boot as well. Flick on by Heskey. Taggart races onto it. Capuzzo trying to keep him there. Taggart still going. He's done really well, Adam Taggart. Will be a goal kick, but a little glimpse of his promise. So positive, isn't he?
He's got great confidence and ability. He's a little bit unlucky. He tries to roll Capuzzo the first time, just got the ball stuck under his feet. Just gets away from the second time as he does manage to get round. A simple football for Newcastle Jets. Birighetti to Heskey and a flick on to Taggart, and suddenly they're in behind the Wanderers' back four. That's the method that they need to take. I'm sure Clayton Zane won't be averse to them doing it at times, especially in conditions like today.
And Taggart has been involved in 12 of the Jets' 20 goals this season. Scored 9 of them. It's a push by Collins on Hull. In fact, after Adam Taggart, Jamie, you have to look all the way back to Nathan Burns and Craig Goodwin with 2 goals apiece. Nathan Burns, of course, no longer with the club. That's how much they've relied on Taggart. 4 goals this season.
It's a massive disparity in goal scorers, isn't it? You can't have that gap between your top goal scorer. You need your midfielders, your other players chipping in 4, 5, 6 goals. That's one of the reasons why Newcastle are languishing where they are. Not only conceding goals, they're not scoring enough. Having to rely on one player is always difficult. Hopefully now with the reintroduction of Joel Griffiths with Heskey in full fitness, that scoring load can be shared about a little bit.
Well, to be fair, when you were at Perth, you just relied on 2, didn't you? Despotovsky and Murray for many years. Well, Nick Merger might have a bit to say about that as well. He contributed a few.
Yeah, well, when you've got 2 great players like that, you can rely on them, I suppose. And there are teams that do get away with that, but certainly Newcastle just can't have that one player they look to every time. And to be fair to Adam Taggart, a lot of those goals have really come off his own back, his own work, and some fantastic finishes.
Good switch by Moy, but miscued by Pollens. Pity from the home team's point of view. This is Hersey. Moy scored that wonderful free kick against the Jets at Hunter Stadium in that 2-2 draw. They work it out to Pollens on the right. Deep cross towards Bridge, who climbs well. Up in the air by Griffiths. Chested down by Ono. Now he's lost out to Caravella, and the counter is very much on here for the Jets. Heskey is the option wide left. Taggart in the middle. It's Emil Heskey. And in the end, it just sort of dribbles across the face of goal. Good half chances at either end of the park for both teams.
Another good counter-attack by the Jets. They can break forwards quickly. Heskey just peeling out to the left-hand side. Trying to isolate Sporanovic one-on-one. Gets up a bit of a head of steam. Tries to strike with his left foot. And really another metre back towards Taggart for a tap-in. So Heskey was probably looking for goal there. Certainly good signs for the Jets.
Well, Heskey without an A-League goal since February of last year, as Aaron Moy is penalised. So a large portion of this season out of course with injury. Appeals for handball by Joel Griffiths in particular. Chris Beath says nothing doing. We've played a quarter of an hour. A rather subdued Parramatta. Bridge letting it run very intelligently, and Aaron Moy was alive to it. Puzo pushing forward, and Joel Griffiths has not tracked back. Puzo with time, and he's wasted the opportunity. I suppose that's one of the issues for the Jets when you select an attacking player like Joel Griffiths on the right flank. He's not necessarily always going to track back, is he?
No, he's done it so far, but just the one time that they don't, and Puzo will get round, he'll continue to push forwards. And poor delivery, but as you say, Joel Griffiths isn't in the team to do that. He doesn't want to be going that deep. Puzo with the poor cross. Talk about the atmosphere that can play on a player's mind, especially at home when they've had such great support. Suddenly come to a game where it's not quite the case, and for no fault of the players themselves. It can be a little bit disturbing for you.
The Wanderers fans having their say by having no say. Tony Popovic vocal there, feeling his striker Haliti was impeded by Yalids. Two go toe-to-toe again, and this time the Wanderers do get the decision. Taken quickly by Polyak, Hersey. Just couldn't control it. Pass from Shinji Ono. And a foul on Houle.
You can find a number of these sort of challenges today with the weather as it is, players just starting to slip. Haliti, that's what he's got to keep doing, is just get in front of Jarlians and Mitchell, get the body contact, try and draw the fouls, and then let the players play off.
You played as both a striker and a defender. In that situation, where's your sympathies lie?
I still think it's as a defender. I believe still like to see that physical aspect of the game and the tackles flying in. And certainly, you know, with centre halves, if you do manage to get in front, you know there's a tackle going to come in. It's just waiting for that touch, that collision, as Haliti does, to go to ground and pick up a nice easy possession for your side.
Well, clearance from Kovic. It's gone all the way through to Birighitti, who heads it away on the edge of his own box. Clearance from Kovic had vapor trails on it. Fairly thumped it downfield. To Puzo. Lovely first touch from Ono, and a deft chip into the box. Bridge to try and hook it centrally towards Haliti. Maybe in the veteran stages of his career, Shinji Ono, but he's still all class. Technique is the last thing to go.
Just got such great feet. Good vision as well. It's a lovely little pass in. Sydney just starting to turn the screws a little bit here, having some good possession, starting to work the Newcastle back four a little bit more. This is really when the Jets have got to stay compact and allow the Wanderers possession for a couple of minutes, just make sure they don't concede and then build themselves up again.
Galante has inadvertently given the ball to Mark Bridge. And he's dragged back by Joel Griffiths. He's going to get a yellow card. Well, what are the chances Joel Griffiths getting the first yellow in the contest, Jamie? He's not best pleased, I can tell you. And I think somebody who's had a bet on that is probably going, yep, told you so.
He looks a little bit incredulous, doesn't he? He's got back well, as we talked about, him trying to defend. And it's just a bit of tangle of arms. A little bit hard done, I believe.
Is that worthy of a yellow card?
I just think there's just been a couple of challenges, hasn't there? And Chris Beath just stamping his authority on the game. If that sets the tone for yellow cards for the rest of it, then it's certainly going to make for interesting viewing.
So Aaron Moy with the set piece. Further out than he was at Hunter Stadium, and not nearly as sweet a delivery. Just in the context of the Jets season, Jamie, how important is this afternoon? They've got Melbourne Heart at home next weekend. If they lose today, next weekend basically it's all or nothing. Melbourne Heart can essentially knock them out of the race.
Yeah, it's a huge match for them. No one's really expecting them to come to Pertex Stadium and get 3 points. If they can go away with the result, go away with the win, suddenly it gives them a bit of momentum. And 5 or 6 weeks ago, they would have been looking at this game and thinking, the next one, okay, we might not win the Wanderers game, but Melbourne Heart at home, that's surely got to be a banker. And suddenly with Heart's incredible form, Jets are really having to look over their shoulders.
High foot by Depuzo, and you can bet your bottom dollar. Yep, Joel Griffiths is saying to Chris Beath, how about that for a yellow card? What's your take, Jamie?
Well, Depuzo's going for the ball, but he's late. Griffiths gets there first, and it's high and it's reckless. Really, if Chris Beath is going to be booking players for what he did for Joel Griffiths, that was worthy, but I don't like to see yellow cards and things like that.
Sadly for the Jets, they've utterly wasted that set-piece opportunity. Zen and Caravella just way too heavy with the delivery towards Hull. Polliott with the no-look switch. He should have looked because there was nobody there for Western Sydney. For their part, of course, eager to keep up the pressure on Brisbane, who got back to winning ways on Friday. Seven points the gap again between the two top of the ladder. Getty with the shank clearance. There's one or two bobbles on the pitch though. Wet day, heavy surface, not ideal for defenders.
No, and Jalians didn't help him there. Getty with the ball back to him. He was under pressure straight away. Getty just making sure he did get the ball away.
Clever touch from Aaron Moy. Looks to get it back from Bridge. Brillante belts it clear. Brillante continuing in that right fullback role, which he admitted this week is not his favourite. Much preferred to be further up the park in midfield. He's doing a decent job there for Clayton Zane. Sending Caravella almost losing his footing, and he did lose the ball. Kaliti sweeps it out to Ono on the left. Good tail on the cross towards Hersey, and it's side netting. Well, the Wanderers crowds have decided that even if the RBB aren't going to be involved in the chanting, the other stands are going to lead the way.
Yeah, it's great to see him. Ono with a good ball in, just gets the crowd on their feet a little bit. Hersey getting across. You're talking about Brillante not being as comfortable at right fullback as he might be. Of course, Jets lost Scott Neville, who was having a very good season before his knee injury. Makes a little bit of drive down that side. Brillante still feeling it ably. What he will give is play a bit of drive forwards as well.
Talking of which, Joel Griffiths trying to provide that for the Jets. This is Caravella. Heskey, a tight spot chip forward by Zatkovic. Handball against Heskey. Well, the reason I mentioned the other stands getting involved in the singing and chanting, Jamie, is that, as you rightly pointed out, it was so flat atmosphere-wise. You did sense it was almost having an impact on the players.
Yeah, the players, and when you become accustomed to a home ground that has such great atmosphere and such energy and emotion in it, to suddenly walk out to a stadium where it's just very flat and devoid, very difficult for players to get themselves motivated. Now, they're all professionals and they should be able to get up for any game, whether it's a kickabout in the park or playing at Wembley.
Bridge offside.
It's an emotional game and just feeds that adrenaline of the players and gets them up for it, and certainly a team like Wanderers know how to harness that and use it to their advantage.
Oh, it's tight. Yallin's playing him on sides, or was he just a fraction in front? It's on towards Taggart, but he was well marshalled by Spranovic. He's really grown in stature this season, Matthew Spranovic. Good to see him getting regular first-team football, certainly helping his World Cup prospects as well.
Certainly under a coach who knows the value of strong centre-halves, good strong centre-halves. By Thomas Stanley and Spranovic's key jobs today.
Now Mitchell has misjudged the bounce. Oh no, feeding Bridge, it's Mark Bridge. That's a vital interception from Josh Berlante. In fact, has Chris Beath given the goal kick? I think he was indicating a goal kick initially, but he's changed his mind. Pretty sure it came off the fullback. Yeah.
Well, that's good recovery from Berlante. Bridge just looking again behind, just not tight at the time to shoot. Sydney Ono starting to get on the ball more and more, isn't he? And he's such a danger.
Ono it will be with the corner, and it's beyond Heskey. Yallin's puts it behind again. Ono getting a standing ovation as he jogs over to the far touchline. We're really going to miss him here next season when he goes back to Japan with Contador Sapporo. The outswinger this time, led by Berlante. And Moy completely air swings at the ball. Back in by Polyak. Polens, and then Heskey's header. Eventually, Caravella kills it. Griffiths. Taggart, good first touch. Griffiths has got away from Topo Stanley. Cross met by Spranovic. Caravella straining every sinew to keep the header down.
A good play by Griffiths and Taggart there, combining well. Griffiths just a little unlucky, just need to be floated a little bit more to beat Spranovic and find Heskey, who's arriving quickly towards the far post.
Eliti, first time ball, foot race between Galloway and Hersey. And the fullback has won that race.
Good turn of speed there from Galloway. Hersey, a very tricky customer. Plenty of fullbacks have seen Hersey's heels during games. He'll keep looking to make those runs in behind, keep trying to force the Newcastle Jets defence further and further back. Just needs that one chance to get in and slide that ball across for someone like Eliti.
Good flick on by Heskey, and Taggart's lost his footing. Zankovic trying to switch it out towards Griffiths, got his angles wrong. Bridge. Ono beaten to it by Josh Mitchell. Back they go towards Birighitti. Polyak. Play condensed almost entirely into that middle third of the park. In truth, neither goalkeepers really had much to do, Jamie.
Well, a couple of half chances, but both times been skied over. Days like today, if you do hit the target, it makes the keeper's job very awkward. A skidding ball. For direct shots, for follow-ups. Both sides getting bogged down, as you say, in the middle third somewhat, not able to create anything clear-cut.
It's Andrew Hall. Yalins. Berlante. Yalins. Nothing more really than a hopeful prod forward in the air. Topo Stanley is pretty vocal in demanding an offside flag that wasn't forthcoming. There's the Jets' travelling supporters. A difficult season again to be a supporter of that club. And the side's got a corner here. In the main, those Jets supporters have stayed pretty loyal, averaging almost 12,000 again this year. There's Andrew Hall and co about to give them something to cheer about from this corner. Angle it back towards Brillante. Easy clearance for Spranovic, back in by Zadkovic. Poljak is there for the Wanderers. Now with Hersey. Poljak, poor first touch by Matteo Poljak. Gives it to Joel Griffiths, who's done really well to turn it in field for the oncoming Andrew Hall. Now Heskey, danger here for the Wanderers, and Heskey forces the first stop of any real significance out of either goalkeeper, and Ante Kovic with a really good plunge to his left.
Well, Griffiths did well initially, just got held up, managed to squeeze the ball through for Hull. He managed to run and get it with West Sydney defence before releasing Heskey. That's an intelligent strike around his body. Kovic had to get down there, was going to find the bottom corner.
Awkward for the keeper too, it bounced in front of him. Hall with the corner, Yallin's had a lash at it. And it'll break for Josh Mitchell on the far touchline. It's somewhat broken down for the Jets, and Yusuf Hersey to bring it forward for the Wanderers. Transition a little bit slow for Western Sydney. It's not quite happening for Tony Popovic's team at the moment.
No, Newcastle Jets are contributing to that. They've been able to keep a high line. Tony Popovic looks a little bit frustrated. They're just looking for those runners to come in from behind from midfield to try and break that line down. Newcastle can be playing with fire if you do something like that and you do get a runner from deeper. Shinjono or Bridge coming inside. At the moment, they're quite comfortable.
Clear trip on Hersey by Andrew Hall. Chris Beaker's going to speak to the young Newcastle Jets flyer, only just back after suspension. Andrew Hall has had his problems in that regard, not only this season with the Jets. You might remember he was sent off for Australian under-22 side against Saudi Arabia at Asian Championship a month or two ago.
Just clumsy more than anything else, that one. Little exuberance, perhaps. Sure, he won't mind if he has to keep making those tackles on Hersey and make sure he doesn't get that sort of influence on the game. He can't allow someone like him time and space on the ball.
Oh no, trying to pick up the loose ball, but Caravella is too smart. He's fed Josh Brillante, brilliant. That could be a card for Mark Bridge. Cynical foul, rightly punished with a yellow ticket.
There's a strong surge forward down the right-hand side. Brillante managed to get the ball out of his feet and really stride on once he'd been played by Caravella. Bridge knew that he was never going to catch Brillante, was he? I'm sure he wasn't going to go any further.
Fourth yellow card of the season for Mark Bridge. And the second of this particular game. Ante Kovic, the first real save in anger some moments ago. It's the boot of Emil Heskey. Newcastle continue to pose a threat on occasion. See what they can do here. Andrew Hall with the free kick. Can't get past the first man. We've seen that a few times this weekend. And it comes for Zatkovic and now Caravella. Telegraphed by Hall, given away by the Wanderers. Mitchell. Yallin's who stayed forward following the set piece. Now he's put his team in A little bit of trouble here with the wayward back pass. Aliti sprinting away. Jallens is back to try and cover. That's very experienced defending. To make up about 50-60 metres there, the Dutchman. Pollens with the cross. Hersey, time to measure it, and now Bridge. Here's a chance for the Wanderers. Ono across the face. And in fact, Ono was flagged for offside, so it wouldn't have counted anyway, but Newcastle Jets just going to sleep momentarily defensively there, Jamie.
Just getting caught out. Jallens had made the challenge and got back well, but he's still caught out on the touchline. The ball just wouldn't quite sit for the Wanderers, just moved a little bit too slowly to release Ono, where he could really get a strike on goal, get a first touch and a strike. Newcastle Jets just have to be very careful. Wanderers so adept at playing without possession, been able to hurt teams very quickly.
Latest battle between Heskey and Topple Stanley goes in favour of the Newcastle Jets. It's going to be a key tussle, that one. Free kick that's almost dead centre. So Zatkovic is going to chip it up towards the left where Heskey waits. Away by Spranovic. Andrew Hall towards the far post, and Jallens free header goal. Newcastle Jets lead. Q Jallens left all alone at the back post, and he couldn't really miss.
It's the goal that Newcastle have been searching for. Initially the set piece cleared by Spranovic, and that's a great ball to the far post, and Jallens has just pulled away. He's not had to make a run, just drifted off the shoulder. The puts, I think it was. Still a good header. Had to be Kovic elected to go into that far post rather than back across, but kept it down. There's no way that Kovic could get down to it. The Wanderers have been stung at home. Clayton Zane very excited about that. And Jets have now given themselves a base from which they can build.
Well, questions I'm sure will be asked by Tony Popovic, former defender of some repute, about the Wanderers marking. They just got attracted towards the ball, the Wanderers defenders. Jallens ghosted away.
Ever so disappointed with the goal they conceded. Obviously Heskey's the main threat. That's what the players are worried about and trying to mark there, but very difficult when a player just does get off your shoulder and just drift back.
Aliti, bit unlucky. So he tried to collect the ball in his stride, just clipped his ankles. Galloway puts it behind to snuff out the threat of Hersey.
Now Newcastle have got to be careful. 7 minutes before half-time, they've got the lead now. They don't want to be too adventurous. They want to just make sure they go in 1-0 up. If not, sneak another one, but they certainly can't afford to give Wanderers any opportunities.
Fifth quarter of the game. Shinji Ono to measure it. And towards Topple Stanley, who had good contact with the ball but couldn't get it down. Here's another look at the goal, Jamie.
You can't see the initial run here, but he's just got away. Topple Stanley trying to get back. Just headed down, maybe even just flicks the arm as it goes through. But it's still a good finish. You have to get those on target. Keep it down. Very difficult for someone like Kovic to get down to that ball. Well, you can't say Newcastle haven't deserved it. They've had probably the better of the half chances so far.
There's Brillante pushing forward from right fullback, but he's holding Bridge back. As we said at the start, Jamie, Newcastle are better away from home this season than at home. Maybe suits them a little bit more. They've won 4 times on the road this season. As Haliti flicks it on, that'll be Birigittis. It's at Hunter Stadium where they've really had the problems. No home win since November.
Yeah, it's an incredible record, isn't it? Just shows the evenness of this A-League competition. Something that some clubs do struggle with. This expectation for the home teams to go out and dominate, to go and win the game. Well, Sydney have certainly shown how it's done in that regard and being able to win games at home without dominating possession. It's a great position for them to be in now, Newcastle.
Zen and Caravella doing excellent screening work as the ball dropped briefly for Bridge. Such a neat and tidy footballer, Zen and Caravella. There's a lot of what they used to call, when Cloud Makalele was playing, the water carrying. It's probably a bit disrespectful to players who play in that particular role, but they get the point. Polens. Haliti free, just pulled off his marker. And unlike Yelens, he's not able to get his header down. Good chance, though.
It's a good ball in. Polens just able to get his head up. It's a great driven ball to the far post. Haliti just pulls off Palante. He's going to go back across Birighitti, trying to drop it into that far corner. Just doesn't get enough power on it, gets too much elevation. Just sees the ball just sail over the bar, but a good chance for Haliti, and really should do better.
Losing out to Ruben Zatkovic. There was an arm across there from Topor Stanley. Zatkovic still goes on. Good determination shown, and now he's starting his appeal to Chris Beath. Interesting. There was certainly an arm across Zatkovic there from Topor Stanley. I think Chris Beath was perhaps within his rights to play the advantage. Zatkovic trying to run onto that subsequent through ball as well, but he's not even spoken to Topor Stanley. What do you make of all that, Jamie?
I'm not sure if the referee actually saw it or not. He's done well to get across, and as he's gone to grab us on the blind side of the referee there, perhaps he hasn't seen it. Zatkovic tries to be honest and continues on rather than going to ground. He goes to ground, perhaps it's a free kick and a booking for Topor Stanley. Sydney Wanderers just perhaps a little bit rattled at the moment, just playing themselves into a bit of trouble.
Haliti was collected there, and Chris Beath again tries to wait for the advantage to accrue before blowing his whistle. Now it's the Wanderers' turn to demand a yellow card.
Starting to get a little bit of spice in the game. Atlanta just coming in strong, both coming together. Haliti's done well just with the back heel to get it away. So nothing malicious again, though. Haliti's still down.
Somewhat winded, so Wanderers down to 10 for the moment, and Newcastle got a problem with their captain Ruben Zatkovic as well. Well, it was always likely to be a little fiery, even given the damp conditions. Right knee giving Zatkovic some concern. That'll be a worry for Clayton Zane.
Zatkovic is such an important part of the way that Newcastle is set up today. He needs to be in and around that area with Caravella to limit the influence of Ono, which they've done to good effect so far. Ono just a few little moments of brilliance. Just hobbling a little bit there. It's a tough character, though. I'm sure he'll be looking to continue on.
Fast heading towards the interval. Jets have the lead, courtesy of Q Yalance. The Wanderers have just been a bit flat in this first half. Important team talk coming up at the break by Tony Popovic. Can they get back on level terms before then? Birighetti's come a long way to claim, which he does. Exactly what you want from your goalkeeper as a defender.
It was a good shout. Ball would have been hung up a long time by Moy there. Gave Birighetti the time to come out. When you do see a keeper like that, you just expect someone like Sporanovic or Topor Stanley to be going up and challenging, just letting Birighetti know that there's no easy balls, even if you do give away the free kick. Just put something in the back of his mind that he won't be doing it again.
He's a Perth boy as well, isn't he, Birighetti?
He is, yeah, very good player. I had the pleasure of coaching him for about 3 months at school once, but a very dedicated individual.
Is there anybody on the park today that you haven't coached or played with, Jamie? There's a few links.
Just showing age a little bit here, unfortunately.
This is Joel Griffiths. Caravella, as we move into 1 minute of additional time. Caravella to go all the way back to Birighitti. Nothing silly from the Jets, that will be the message, no doubt. Get into half-time with this lead intact. Mitchell puts it out. Percy. Time to turn and cross. Galante met it. Hall and Caravella to tidy up and push forward to look for Taggart. Moy. Now Hersey's got the jump on Galloway. On the rare occasions he's done that in the first half. Birighitti out to smother. And it ends in smiles, but I'm sure there are not too many on the face of the Wanderers coaching staff. They've been very flat. Newcastle have executed their game plan to precision so far. Hugh Yallens with the only goal of the game after 37 minutes after Andrew Hall swung across him. The Wanderers marking not the best, and their performance has not been the best in this first half. The home team will hope for better in the second period. Newcastle will hope it stays the same way at the break. It's Western Sydney Wanderers 0, Newcastle Jets 1. And let's go down to Tom Chadwick.
Yeah, thank you, Simon. I'm joined by Ante Kovic. Ante, a fairly slow start from you boys, but it must be disappointing to concede so late there.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the whole thing. Slow game. It's not the game that we naturally play, and we're not aggressive enough. We're not securing the ball, and we're turning it over too easy. They're winning up. They're picking up the second balls, and you know we got punished from a bit of slack defending. We got to improve.
All right, how do you get back into the game?
Oh, we've got to get back to the way we know how to play. Be aggressive, work 100%, secure the ball, and get in behind them. Get between the lines.
Ante, thank you, mate.
Thank you.
Time for a break here from Pertex Stadium. On the other side, Adam Peacock and Mark Bosnich will analyse the first 45.
Come on, Marty. I've got my money on Marty. Come on, Marty. Is it going to be another one? Come on, Christopher. Oh, what a penalty. What a goal. What a celebration. What are you going to do with the big $500? The way you can't get anything, let's give it up for Christopher. That's how easy it is to get a $500 voucher and A-Max person was lucky. The Prince of Wales here up on Western City Warrior.
Adam, I've just demolished one of the hot dogs here at Parramatta at half-time. We're about to see if the Wanderers are equally as hungry in this second half. I'm sure Tony Popovich has had a few strong words to say. They were pretty subdued in that first period, both in the stands and on the pitch. So far, so good for the Jets. No changes made by either coach at the interval. And this would be, Jamie Harwell, a priceless 3 points for the Newcastle Jets if they could see it through.
Well, it's a big if, isn't it? They haven't been able to keep many clean sheets this season. The defence has been suspect. They've certainly put themselves into a great position. The Wanderers really just need to raise the tempo of this game. It's been somewhat lacking from them in the first half. They really need to get that buzz back at Pertex Stadium and then get that ball moving nice and quick and start to pin Newcastle Jets back and ask a few questions of their defence.
It's too far off the boot of Joel Griffiths. One of two players booked in the first period. As well as Newcastle, the other team that will be enjoying what's occurring in front of us this afternoon, of course, is Brisbane Roar. Watching at home with a 7-point cushion at the top as Collins concedes the free kick.
That's well done there by Paul, just letting the ball run across him, making sure he got the contact from Pollens. The Wanderers got to be a lot more proactive, really try and press Newcastle Jets high, but of course when they do that, they've got the out ball of Emil Heskey every time to hit, with Taggart running off him as well.
Ball with the free kick. Griffiths slept well, and Jallens is there again. Ben Heskey. Sporanovic away, helped on by Polyak, and then back towards his own goal by Ono. Heskey wants the free kick. Instead, the ball is returned into Jets territory with Labanot Haliti, and he's done really well there to retain possession. Then Zatkovic and Hersey collapse in a heap together. The decision goes the way of the Jets.
Zatkovic got himself into a good position there as he was tracking back. Managed to get back goal side and ball side of Hersey. And Hersey looking to get round, both players tangling with each other. And the free kick was only ever going to go one way from my mind.
Well, an encouraging stat for Clayton Zane and his team. Newcastle have never actually lost an away game in the A-League when they've led at half-time. 26 previous occasions that's occurred. 19 wins, 7 draws. They also yet to win against New South Wales opposition this season in 7 attempts. The side of all of that is seeking to close that gap on the top 6, which is currently 5 points.
Well, the draw's not going to be enough, is it? They want to go for the win. They need to go for the win. They've got themselves into a great position. It's a West Sydney team that really hasn't found their form yet tonight. Perhaps something a little bit of a hangover from the Champions League game. Last time they've had to deal with that. So that perhaps even Tony Popovich's rotations to keep his players fresh just can't quite deal with.
Not a single shot on target as yet for the Wanderers. It's a foul by Jallens. And he's in trouble. Just back from a ban, and he's going to be in the referee's notebook again for the 9th time this season. Get to that one red that he got against Brisbane.
He just gets too tight to Haliti there. He's very clever. He lets the ball run across his body, just rolls in. Both players scrapping away, but you get into that sort of situation, the striker's always going to get the advantage. The Alien's now walking a tightrope, should I say, for the rest of this game. You're going to need him to be very immense in this half, you would imagine. You expect West Sydney to throw everything here at Newcastle in this second half.
Again, the free kick is almost dead straight. Spieth just ushering the wall back, the required 10 metres. Aaron Moy to drive it. He got good power, not quite the direction as the rain starts to come down again in Parramatta.
We can certainly hit the Moy. A few players in the A-League starting to try this, the technique, just hitting it straight on, try and get that dip and swerve. Moving Birighitti comfortable and seeing it all the way out. Starts to become a bit more of a scrap now, doesn't it, with the rain falling like this, the pitch being a bit heavy. Newcastle Jets just need to stand up and be counted here, the back four especially, be strong. Take no risks, get the ball out of danger.
Left touch by Ono, and there was a bit of contact there as well from Mitchell. Referee happy for play to continue, and Kovic had to really hair off his line there to get there ahead of Taggart, who is quick. Wanderers trying to increase the tempo. Haliti onside. Here's a chance for the Wanderers. Galante keeping pace with him. Haliti releases the effort on goal, but the angle was a bit narrow. He wants a corner too. And eventually, after initially giving the goal kick, Chris Beath agrees.
There's better ball movement for the Wanderers. They were able to play through. We just see this Josh Mitchell there just trying to step up. Galloway quite a long way behind. It's a centre half. You can't really step. The call's got to come from out wide. Haliti played onside but couldn't quite direct the shot on target.
Ono's corner. Griffiths and Mitchell went for the same ball. Sporanovic. Hersey. Find the angle for the cross. He's done really well, Hersey. It's deflected out towards Polyak. Now Moy. More promise about the Wanderers here. Ono, pace into the box. And Birighitti gathers. Quick release from the goalkeeper too. Here's Andrew Hall. Taggart. Danger at the other end. And Taggart, has he gone too wide? He has.
He's got great pace, Taggart, hasn't he? Just burns past Nicola Stanley. He's able to keep pace with him, but he's touched just a little bit too heavy. If Wanderers go out to press this game and try and get something out of it, there's going to be more and more space open up for the likes of Taggart, Griffiths. They do need to be mindful of the Wanderers that they don't leave too big a hole at the back as they go chasing an equaliser.
Pollens into the channel for Shinji Ono. Mitchell keeping tabs on him. Hersey beaten to it by Mitchell. Caravella, a bit of a hospital ball for Zatkovic. The Wanderers have scrapped well for it and got it back. Pollens. As you predicted, Jamie, a real scrap for possession in midfield. Depuzo. Bridge. Haliti. Polyak. Down he goes under the weight of Heskey's challenge. No foul. Griffiths to try and release Taggart again. That'll be the tactic for the Jets. Increasingly as they come under pressure.
You can see the run Taggart's making straight away. He's not looking for the ball to feed at all. He's just looking to bend off the shoulder of the centre half, get in behind. There'll be good balls played in now. The ball's really going to skid away. Perfectly weighted to find him. It's just such a dangerous tactic.
Pollens in the driving rain in Parramatta, but it's not a good delivery. Everybody drawn towards the near post.
To be fair to Pollens, it's not a bad area to put the ball in. But Yarlian scoring from the far post, just drifting off, and as I said, unfortunately, all the Wanderers strikers looking to get across their defender, not having a presence of mind just to pull off and see if the ball's overhit.
Joel Griffiths caught on the arm. Good to see he can smile about it. The rain really pretty heavy now. Lots of umbrellas up and raincoats on in the stands. Showers were predicted throughout today. It's been a wet weekend in this part of New South Wales. Caravella heads it forward and Taggart's onside. Interesting to see that one again if this leads to anything, but Taggart's lost out to Depuzo. forward for Ono. Challenge from behind by Mitchell. He pleads his innocence. Chris Beef not impressed. Bridge. Square for Moy. Collins. Collins trying to curl it in towards Ono, I think. Ended up being a pretty weak shot, which Birighitti had no difficulty dealing with.
You can certainly see the tempo's lifted in the game. Wanderers really moving the ball around quickly now. Trying to spread the play as quickly as possible. Just concentrating the defensive efforts down the middle, trying to negate Ono and Moy. So leaving a lot of space out wide for the fullbacks when they can get forwards.
Floating it into the path of Bridge. Good switch for Moy. Well, you can see they're trying to up the tempo, aren't they, the Wanderers?
They certainly needed to after the first half. Really didn't get themselves in the game. Newcastle were quite comfortable in the way they were playing. But still, Newcastle just seemed to have them at arm's length. That can change in a split second. For the time being, Clayton Zane must be very happy with the way his team's performing.
Just rather aimless from Collins. Just not really been able to hit top gear as yet, the Wanderers. Whether those Asian exertions have anything to do with that. Had no trouble, of course, during the week. For all their trips north in that particular competition, Jamie, they've only got one interstate trip left domestically this season. To Melbourne Heart on the final day of the regular season.
It's just not something that Australian players are used to, that midweek game, having to back up 3 games in 7 days, 8 days. Difficult, especially in some of the conditions we do find here, to do so.
Zankovic right in the challenge of Moy. Good delivery too. Good gather by Kovic. It's not often you can hear the players at Pirtek Stadium shouting to each other. It's normally a wall of sound, but that's the way it is today. The RBB conducting their protest. Sanctions imposed for the flares let off during the week. Really understand what they expect the club to do.
Come on, Mattel!
Don't let off flares, that's the message. Broken up in midfield by Caravella. It's a good ball by Heskey, and Taggart's away here. Adam Taggart! Good save by Ante Kovic. What a chance, really, to put the game potentially beyond the Wanderers' reach.
It was a wonderfully weighted ball by Heskey. He's just playing a little bit deeper in this second half. Had time to look up. Taggart, as he has been doing, making that run in behind. A good first touch. Perhaps just opened his body up a little bit too early and showed Kovic which way he was going to go. Still had to be very smartly down for the save, Kovic.
Percy weaving in and out of the defence. Lovely ball to Ono. And the Wanderers finish. They can't. And the game's starting to open up.
The Wanderers looking to press on. It's always going to open those spaces up for Newcastle to exploit. It's a great ball through from Heskey, right into the stride at Taggart. Just see there, he just starts to open his body already. He's picked his spot, he knows where he wants to go. Kovic with a smart save. You can't discount the Wanderers with the players they've got. Ono and Hersey. Just straight offside, but kept going. Not sure whether he's trying to cross or shoot there. The magic that Ono's been able to provide us in his time with the Wanderers. You can't discount the shot, a cheeky little chip over Birighitti.
Tony Popovic has clearly seen enough. He's going to make the first change of the game. Brendan Santalab on standby. Score of that excellent goal after just 40-odd seconds during the week. Wanderers unable to capitalise on that early advantage. Again, but he's given it to Hersey. Boy. Oh no. Leety didn't get the right purchase on the ball. Throwing for the Jets. Here's the change for the Wanderers. So Brendan Santalab, scorer of 4 goals this season. It's his chance. Labanot Haliti has toiled hard, but just that one chance that he had with 5 minutes of the first half remaining, where he put that header on top of the goal. Chances have been at a premium for the home team. Being driven back by Carabella.
Well, without Juric, they really don't have that physical aspect to their play up front. Juric's someone they can get the ball long into, he can hold it up and bring people in. Santalab's not that sort of play. He's got pace, he's got guile. The long ball forwards isn't really going to stick up against the Aliens and Mitchell. Go.
Joel Griffiths. Cannons off Taggart rather than the Jet striker controlling it. Heskey closing down Deputso, and he's been pinged for the foul. That looked a bit soft to me. I don't know what your take on it is, Jamie.
Got very lucky there, I think, Deputso. He's tried to rub around that strong work from Heskey. Perhaps he just did get his leg first. Very soft one to give away. Heskey's been good so far in this second half, working back into midfield at times, pressing when he needs to, and he needs to be that leader in there, setting the line for Jets where they're going to defend from.
Percy. Space. Just going to have a word with Ruben Zatkovic. There's White. It's a bit clumsy on Moy, who's got the ball here, swings it in. Just catching practice for Mark Berregitti. So far, the Wanderers' 50th game in the Hyundai A-League. It's been a bit like the weather, a bit of a damp squib. Foreman can change it, it's this one. Shinji Ono trying to keep his balance. And no foul by Zatkovic. Interesting. Mitchell going forward towards Taggart. Taggart and Heskey have combined pretty well in this second half. They've had the moments in the Wanderers' penalty area. Here's Taggart, who shoots, takes a deflection and in. And Newcastle have doubled their advantage. Adam Taggart has his 10th of the season. And it's a long way back now for the Wanderers.
We have to give Taggart a huge amount of credit for that goal. Used his body so well to protect the ball in around the box, be able to spin. Started off, he got his touch in front of Sporanovic. Good ball over the top from Heskey. And Taggart's really got it all to do, surrounded by Wanderers defenders. Managed to wriggle free, pull the trigger. I think it's a very lucky touch off Sporanovic, but he earned the luck. Just pure determination. He used his body very well. Topo Stanley unable to do anything in the penalty box. He gets the chance, he strikes, and Kovic no chance off the deflection.
Well, 3 defenders plus the goalkeeper. The odds were stacked against Adam Taggart. A credit to him. And he joins Stein Housigams and David Williams on 10 goals for the season in the race for the Golden Boot. Second change made by Tony Popovic. Jason Trefiro is on in place of Aaron Moy. And really, on the strength of their performance this afternoon, Jamie, this scoreline is no more than the home team deserve. Newcastle have been excellent.
They have. Wanderers really just haven't been at the races so far. They've had to try and press, and they've tried to lift the tempo in this second half. But in doing so, they've had to push high and leave space in behind. And Taggart, that's all he's been looking to exploit. He knows he's got the pace. He also showed he had the strength on that occasion there and the confidence to have a go.
What have the Wanderers got in response? That's a clear nudge by Ono. Difficult times for Tony Popovic. Defeated in Asia in midweek. And this will be a hammer blow to their Premiership hopes if they were to lose this one. Not so for Newcastle and their supporters. What a crucial win it would be for them.
Newcastle certainly can't relax yet. Long way to go in this game. I still feel there's that vulnerability about them. Wanderers able to get 1 goal back that really tests the resolve of Newcastle. Let's see what they're made of. So Taggart able to get in front of Sporanovic. Heskey just intelligent, gets it in front of him. But really, Tony Popovic will be disappointed with the defending. 3-4 defenders back around the ball, unable to get any meaningful contact onto Taggart, only able to get any tackle in. As soon as he's allowed to shoot, you run the risk of that deflection. But he earned that luck, Adam Taggart.
Well, defensive sloppiness is costing the Wanderers dear at the moment. 3 cheap goals they coughed up during the week. Another foul given against Shinji Ono. He might be walking a bit of a tightrope as well. Two soft goals here this afternoon as well. Heskey wins another aerial duel. Pollens is there. Picked up in the deep by Caravella. Now HAL. HAL has got around Pollens. How did he do that? Fixing across, didn't match it. And away comes Bridge. Wanderers desperate for a bit of inspiration. Polyak. Held up by Heskey. Switch for Pollens. Well, they're just hopeful crosses in, really. And as you say, Jamie, without Juric there as an aerial presence, going to get too much joy out of those sort of deliveries. Maybe Shinji Ono can find a better one. Picks out Hersey on the far post. And he can't do anything with it.
Galloway just did enough on that occasion. Hersey's strength in the air, trying to knock that one back across. Newcastle able to do to Wanderers what Wanderers have done so well to other teams, just hold them at arm lengths, stop them creating any real chances. Continue to do that. Tony Popovic really needs to try and shake things up.
Well, instead, it's going to be Clayton Zane to shake his team up in a moment or two. James Virgili is going to be the Jets' first change. I wonder if that means the end of the section for Joel Griffiths. And of course, what Virgili has in common with Taggart is pace. The sort of game that the Jets are playing now on the counter could suit them down to the ground. Here is that change and confirmation that it is indeed Joel Griffiths who will take his leave. The role for which he'd become famous in the A-League. He's done his job tonight.
I think he has. He's done what was asked of him. He had to try and work up and down that right-hand side, get back and defend when needed. On most occasions, he's managed to do that. Not played for a little while now. Feeling the effects of a heavy pitch here as well. Certainly did the job for the team.
Caravella scrapping well for it and winning it. Pesky forward, Taggart. Virgili was almost away from Pollets there. That's the danger for the Wanderers. Trefiro. Risky ball. Percy can't reach it. Santalab does. Turns clear of Yalids. Good play. Well, it was. The pass didn't match his earlier work. The Poots are not impressed.
I think Santalab has every right to expect the Puzzo to be bombing on there and providing option down the left-hand side, especially at this scoreline. There was good work in there. That's where Santalab needs the ball. Needs it into feet on the ground, so he can try and twist and turn against Yalians and Mitchell. They're just bombing it in the air.
We talked at the start, Jamie, about Newcastle being better on the road than at home. Their last 2 wins in the A-League, both come away, both against Brisbane. Now, if they add Wanderers to that, it's the top 2 beaten away from home 3 times this season. And yet they're 9th, go figure. Or at least they were at the start of play.
Again, it goes back to the A-League, doesn't it? How unpredictable it can be. They've certainly got the players to be able to hurt teams on counter-attacks. They've got raw pace, ability to score goals. If teams try and press on and teams try and dominate possession and work themselves into good goal-scoring positions, Newcastle can go herd them quickly up at the other end.
Taggart. Decent ball. Hall. Best of control by Andrew Hall, who's reverted to the more familiar right flank role for him, with Virgili on the left since the departure of Joel Griffiths. I just can't help feeling that the rather flat atmosphere has somewhat contributed to the Wanderers' malaise here this afternoon as well. It's been a really rather strange afternoon. Let's see if the Wanderers can perhaps inject a bit of life into it through Mark Bridge here. Put to the byline, can he find the cross? It's a really good one. Percy thought for a moment about the overhead kick. Nobody at the back post for the home team.
It's just moments for Wanderers, isn't there, where you just think there's something building. Just a bad delivery, bad run. Just seems to be letting down the Wanderers at the moment. They can't build sustained pressure. Can't create anything there. They look to throw one of the big men forwards later in the game, try and pinch something out of it. At some stage, something's got to stick for the Wanderers up in that final third, and someone's going to have that little bit of magic that they possess. It's just not being shown today.
Well, they're going to make their final change presently with Corbina Apia standing by. Adamant he should have had a free kick, and Chris Beath eventually does blow his whistle in Newcastle's favour. It was just delaying their change for the moment. Yusuf Hirsi is going to be replaced, we're told. Zakovic can hit a mean free kick. It's Really not quite the right angle for him. Galante and Hall there as well. Zankovic runs over it, so too Brillante, and Hall puts it straight in the wall. Percy gets a foot in. Could be a counter on here for the Wanderers. Mark Bridge, only Santalab up with him. And eventually he was just outnumbered. He's left his foot in on Yallens as well, who's gone down hurt. Jets quickly back on the ball through Virgili. And now the change will be made by Tony Popovic. It's not his most influential game today, Yusuf Percy. In fairness, he's not on his own, Jamie.
No, a number of Wanderers players can be put into that category. They're just moments of brilliance here and there. Percy, Ono, no sustained real threat. The Newcastle Jets goal.
Esky pleading in vain for a corner. Well, 3 points for the Jets will take them back above Melbourne Heart, who they meet at Hunter Stadium next weekend. And they've got the F3 derby, Clayton Zane's side, at Central Coast Stadium. Wanderers, for their part, are going to have to pick themselves up, assuming they don't get anything out of this game, for the big derby against Sydney FC next weekend.
Well, for Newcastle, they're the games they need to win. So very well beating Brisbane, beating West Sydney, but the teams in and around you are the points that you really need to pick up. It'll be massive games for the Jets, especially if they can hang on to you today.
Almost becomes like a mini league, doesn't it? Those clubs in and around the 6. Shinji Ono, Yallens across to meet him. Topher Stanley cushioning the pass for Bridge. Switch for Sporanovic. Now Pollens. There's still time for the Wanderers. They can find a bit of fluency. Newcastle, to their credit, have just not allowed them to do that. And here's Taggart, always the outlets. Virgili's keeping pace with him on the left. Taggart's still going. And eventually was dragged back by Sporanovic, who's going to go into the book as well.
He's been doing that hold-up play so well, Taggart, today. Sporanovic definitely a grab of his shirt once, twice. That's enough for referee Chris Bean to make the decision. He's certainly been integral. He has made those runs in behind, but now, as the pressure mounts, he's also receiving the ball to feet and being able to protect it.
5th yellow card for Matthew Sporanovic. That means, I'm pretty sure he will miss the Sydney derby next weekend. There is a cut-off point in the A-League whereby the cards revert back to 0. I think that might still be a week away. Anyway, that'll be confirmed this week. Definitely his 5th of the season in any case. No rush. Why should he be? And Hall gets his team a corner. Another change. And Andrew Hall is going to give way in favour of Joey Gibbs, former Western Sydney Wanderers player, of course. 13 appearances and 2 goals in the Premiership winning side here last season. Both Hall and Griffiths, who've both now been replaced, have put in a decent shift on the flanks for Clayton Zane.
Well, for what Clayton Zane's asking him to do, very difficult to last 90 minutes, provide that attacking threat, but then also get back, cover your fullbacks as well. He's certainly done that. He's been up and down all day. Chance for Joe Gibbs now hasn't seen a lot of football this season. He relishes a chance to score a goal now.
So Belante's outswinger. It's on the full by Santalab. See the Porcelain as usual in full swing. Not with any great joy today. Confirmation of the crowd figure. I think I'm right in saying that's the lowest of the season, 12,079. If that's as low as they go, then that's a pretty good result. Is there some joy still left in this game for Western Sydney? Outside of the boot by Bridge, and Appiah is racing after it, but tell you what, Sam Galloway is deceptively quick, isn't he? Showed that on one or two occasions this afternoon. Here's Pollens. He's clattered into by Virgili, and that's going to be a yellow card as well.
So he's just not been able to make up the distance there to Pollens. Pollens did well, just got the ball past him. As I say, Galloway's very quick. Foot races with both Appiah now and Hersey that he's won. He's been a strong part of that Newcastle back four so far today.
Mark Birighitti has rarely been tested. Scott Virgili watching that near post, is shuffling forward. Plenty forward for Western Sydney. Topos Stanley in particular to lend some height at the back post along with Sporanovic. It doesn't reach either of them. Lots of Newcastle fans you can hear in the background. That's a small knot away in the corner. Enjoying a rare successful day out, or at least that's the way it seems. Pollens just need a bit of quality on the delivery, and they can't find it, haven't been able to find it most of the afternoon, the Wanderers. Scrapping for it with Sporanovic, who won it well, and then Heskey nicks it back for the Jets. Caravella. Nowhere to go for the midfielder. Trefiro. Tony Popovic out of his seat, anxiously trying to coax a bit of life into his team. You have to say, Clayton Zane has got his game plan spot on.
He has. He's set out to initially to frustrate the Wanderers. They managed to get a fair bit of the ball. Gradually build, and then the key was the goal. As soon as they got their goal, it was a chance for them now to be able to sit back, see if the Wanderers can break them down, and then hit them on the counter-attack.
Albina Appiah. Through the legs of Mitchell, but Virgili back to cover. Heskey with the tricks. It breaks for Heskey. Taggart might have been fouled. And there could be a counter on here for Newcastle. Josh Berlante steaming forward. It's not a great delivery in the direction of Gibbs. Otherwise, they might have been in for a third.
Well, that just shows the importance of Heskey today. He's been superb. Has had to drop back into midfield, do the dirty work as well. He's certainly not shirked any of his duties there, winning the ball, putting pressure on when he needs to, and then just that quality to be able to release players as well.
Well, they've exchanged roles in the second half, haven't they? Him and Taggart, as Bridge crosses the ball. Over at the back post again for the Wanderers. First half, Heskey was more the number 9. Second half, he's more the number 10.
Yeah, they've had to adapt the game plan to how the game's gone, because they've seen that Wanderers have had to push in, Bridges got in behind with a ball up. He really needs to be getting into the far post. Those Wanderers have needed to push on. You don't need Heskey up front trying to hold the things back, trying to hold things up.
Let's a quick glance at how the Golden Boot race leaderboard stands. 3 players now tied on 10 goals, of which Adam Taggart is one.
In the second half, Taggart has been able to use his pace to good effect.
So is Joey Gibbs. On the corner for the Jets.
He's made his first couple of runs in the second half, in behind, stretched the Wanderers' defence back, but then he's changed as well. He's had to come into feet, receive the ball, and then sprint into that space. And those two have really been integral to the performance of Newcastle today.
Josh Brillante just ambling over. Now he's set for the corner. Towards Gibbs, but Santalab wins it in the air. Challenged by Zadkovic, unfairly so. Jets captain again has got through a mountain of work in midfield. They've all played their part.
I don't think Zadkovic will be too concerned about giving a free kick away down there. But Santalab doesn't get released with the ball. Both him and Caravella really marshalled that middle of midfield for Newcastle, been able to get on the ball when possible and scrap when they needed to as well.
Caputo, Trafiro. Caputo cutting in field. Polyak. Polens. Cross with the left foot, helped on by Trafiro. Just nothing has happened for the Wanderers in the final third. They've had a lot of possession in recent times, but it's what you do with it, Jamie.
Well, it's really a difficult ball to hit him from Polens as he cuts inside that left foot. He's looking for someone to come to feet, to bounce one off, try and create something that way. Instead, all the runners are trying to get themselves in the box, and the left foot running at pace, difficult one to try and pick anyone out. That's really indicative of the Wanderers' game so far. They haven't been able to pick players out and haven't had any plan B.
Jets sat fair for their first New South Wales derby success of the season, the 8th attempt. Will be music to Clayton Zane's ears, given that 6 of their last 7 are to be played in this state. The only away trip outside New South Wales is to Perth. The key for the Jets really as well is to get that home form right. Polyak finds the space for Ono. Bridge looking to attack Brillante, fires it across the face, and again there's nobody at the far stick. And here's the third and final change for the Newcastle Jets, and if anybody deserves a round of applause from those Jets fans in the corner, Jamie, it's this guy, Adam Taggart.
Yeah, he's been very, very good for Newcastle today. Been their outlet going forwards on most occasions. Threatened with his pace, then also shows strength and awareness for his goal. Players all round him, Wanderers defenders. Managed to wriggle enough space, gains half a yard to be able to strike it. Gets lucky with the deflection, but deserved the goal. He's continued to be a thorn in Wanderers' side.
Mitchell forced to backtrack, and again he's complaining that he's being held. Chris Beath waving those appeals away. Mitch Oxborough, incidentally, the replacement for Adam Taggart. Deep inside the final minutes of normal time. Ono's corner. Top for Stanley. Well, he got clean contact. And really, he should have at least tested Mark Birighitti from there.
Yeah, Young's just getting caught under the ball a little bit. Weary legs. Stanley attacking the ball well. Just dipped his head before the ball's got there. Just haven't quite timed it right.
Come on, Jace.
Oxborough. Caravella. He's been excellent as well for Newcastle. So we enter 3 minutes of additional time. Jeremy, can you make any more sense of the A-League ladder after what you've seen here today? The shake of the head says it all.
No, it's incredible, isn't it? It's great for the league, such competition. Anyone can beat anyone on the given day. So Brisbane, Sydney, despite the performance today, they've got the quality for every other team to catch. Newcastle certainly showing they can be a force if they can replicate this form. Melbourne Hart climbing the ladder, victory still with great attacking threat. As well for an exciting final series. We just haven't seen the expected fight from Wanderers today. No real charge, nothing created, no real spark here. And I think that'll be the thing that worries Tony Popovich the most.
Yeah, it's all been a little bit laboured and lethargic from Western Sydney. Should credit Newcastle for that, though. They have scrapped for everything. Really put in for their jersey and for their club today.
Spranovic is getting in there first. All intention of going for the ball. Studs were up. So the conditions perhaps have helped Newcastle to a degree. It's a little bit greasy, a little bit heavy. And the effort, commitment and the discipline as well from Newcastle to stick to the game plan that Clayton Zane has put forth has certainly paid dividends.
By Brillante. Polance puts it back into Jets territory. Shingiano has grafted hard, but without much success. Can't get on the end of that pass either. Zatkovic is there. Under 30 seconds to go. Wellington Phoenix have won at Pertex Stadium so far this season, but Clayton Zane is about to join Ernie Merrick in that winner's circle. Appiah wins a corner, which could be the last action of the game. It will probably only be consolation, even if the Wanderers do score here. Towards Toffolo Stanley, and again, he had good contact. Again, he puts it over. It's sort of in the story for Western Sydney Wanderers. 2 home defeats in a week for Tony Popovich's side. A flat performance from them on a grey day in terms of the weather. A big win for the Jets, and didn't they need it? They were excellent today. Newcastle, their priorities to get into the finals, and this victory is so important to keep those hopes alive, and they fully deserve their success here today. A big loss though for the Wanderers, and elsewhere Brisbane Roar will be grinning like Cheshire cats at this result. A handshake between Tony Popovich and Clayton Zane. The Jets fully deserving of the spoils. Q Yallin's putting them ahead in the first half. Adam Taggart with his 10th of the season after the break. More than enough to see off a below par Western Sydney. Full-time scoreline, the Wanderers 0, the Jets 2. And let's go down to Tom Chadwick.
Yeah, thank you very much, Simon. Joined by Zen and Caravella. Mate, that's a really crucial 3 points, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very important win for us. You know, after especially losing last week at home. to come away to the Wanderers and get 3 points it's big for us this time of the season.
What changed today? You seem like a different side to the one we've seen over the last month or so.
I don't think we've changed much. I mean, today we played to the conditions.